Well, afternoon, people. Just in me shed, just sorting out changing a few elastics on my short kits, which I should be doing in a minute. Making a few rigs up, and I have been making a few rigs up as well. With my had some new floats delivered a couple of days ago from Ian, and just having a little play around with these lovely carbon stem. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit on that. Carbon stem floats from Ian, 1.5 bristle, and these are just made up for a bit of silver fishing. Nothing clever. Got an 010 on there to an 18, little bulk of 9s, and then a couple of droppers. These are on shot, so I don't want them moving about. These will be for Ivy House actually, and when I go in a couple of weeks for the Fish House Silvers. Going to go to Ivy on Sunday for match on herring. I'm going to make a few rigs up for that in a minute. But last match I fished was at Ivy on the Winter League. Drew peg 19 on Willow, and if any of you've seen the video or not, I had a lovely day. I've caught all my fish on the pole and maggot or an expander, just fishing between 11 and 13 metres because the wind was a little bit cheeky. Funny peg, 19, 20 and 21 are 3 pegs close together, and to be honest, I went a little bit gung-ho on it. I wasn't not doing any good in the league, so I thought I'd have a go, try and catch some silvers and a bit of everything really. Started on the bomb, not a sniff, and it was noticeable that nobody was catching carp or anything. I thought, right, carp I'm going to feed, just get my head down, and had a lovely day in the end. I had 36 pounds of little stocky F1s, and then some skimmers to back it up, top it up to 41 pound. And I think I put in 2 overwetted soft balls of Skimmers Dark with a few dead reds in and some micros, and then a soft one loose over the top but mixed overwetted, and left that for, normally I leave it for an hour, but because it was so rubbish on the tip I thought, right, half an hour, let's go and have a look. And I also set up another line slightly to my left, just micros, and another line 30 metres long left, tapping in a bit of corn, hoping to catch and bring some carp. Sorry. Cut long story short, I had 1 skimmer on the corn line, 5 fish over the micros, and all the rest of my fish I caught over my ground bait line. So yeah, I think I had a pocket of stockies in front of me. They didn't want to move. It's amazing, they wouldn't move from where I fed initially. I tried refeeding another ground bait line over where I fed the micros, but they just wouldn't move. It's funny. So I think I was just lucky that I sat on some fish. Peg 20 next to me fished quite a long time on the tip, and then he fished a wagler across and caught, he had 6 pounds. Then peg 21 struggled as well. He set it out for a carp, to be honest. I think on that lake, if you loose feed the maggots, at the moment it seems to me that you do catch those little tiny roach. They're a nuisance. Because if you don't loose feed, you don't tend to trap those little roach into your peg, because you can try and catch the better fish that are in there. That's what worked for me anyway. So I just felt on the day I just did the right thing. So that was that really. So lovely day. So I say £41, one with a lake. I fished Watmore Farm the day before that and struggled, to be honest, through Peg 3. Never been there before. It was a lot deeper than I knew. It was deep, but it was deeper than I thought, and it just sloped away. If I'm honest, I didn't have the right rigs. I had a gram rig set up and a 0.75, but I felt like I needed a 2-grammer to fish 16 metres much further out and the much deeper water. I think I would have caught a few more. Instead, I found 13 metres. I found a couple of flattish spots, still top 5 deep. Eventually caught a few skimmers late there for £5.12, which, and as it turned out, beat the 2 to my left. And then the other 2 lads, Anthony Flint, I can't remember the other guy's name, they fished bloodworm. I didn't have bloodworm, and I think that made a massive difference. They've caught, one's had £11, one's had £14. But a big well done to Alex Clements, who qualified. He had £16, I think, over bloodworm. He had some lot of roach, a few smaller skimmers, I believe. So well done to Alex, class angler, really good at that sort of fishing, does it all the time. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. As I say, was going to go out today, but quite a busy weekend at work. I've been knackered, to be honest. So I thought, no, I'm going to have a chill couple of days, and I can't get out Saturday, but I'll be out Sunday. I'm going to Heron. Not fished that for a little while, so get a few bites on there anyway. So looking forward to that. So yeah, just that's basically at the moment. So I'm in the shed. I am making a few rigs up. Got these lovely package from through the post from Ian. Some lovely F1 Slims. So I'll be shotting them up. Lovely floats. This is a 0.4. Just lovely, well-made floats. They're so good. I mean, I can't fault them. And you shot one up, and I guarantee you, all the rest were shot up exactly the same. That's a 0.4. Very much doubt I'll be using that on Heron, but 0.15 and 0.20, 0.30. Yeah, so 4B10, 4B12, 4B14, and so on. It's a nice little 0.15. I like these for sometimes what I'll do is I'll shorten the stem, and I love these for fishing sort of 14 inches deep, sort of slapping a rig, not slapping it, but just sort of little strung rig, flicking it out. That can work really well before they come really shallow, catching a few fish sort of not half depth, above half depth, but yeah, say about anything between 14 and 18 inches, it works really well. And then the standard bolt rig for fishing on the deck. For the other, hopefully catch some F1s, always have a strung out rig on there and a bulk rig. I always set a shallow rig up because sometimes they do rock up. On a shallow line, so I tend to talk of the devil. There's one that there's my 0.15 with a slightly cut down stem, and what we've got on there, we've got 4 11s. Sorry, that's not the little shallow one, but that's one that I sometimes when it's fishing hard, I'll fish that long across, so we get a nice slow fall. These are actually on stops and not shot. Normally I use shot, but sometimes I like to be able to move these up and down a little bit depending on how it's fishing. I'll have a bolt quite high, some hook lengths here, and flick it out so you get a very slow fall of the last, what we got here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 16 inches. So I've got my bolts at 16 inches and then a couple of 11 droppers. We just get a very slow fall, but I'll get a little hold up or you get a proper bite. It just works quite well. But these are all coming off in a minute. I'm just going to go through them all, check them all, and make sure everything's hunky-dory. Basically, that's my little. Oh, there's my little. There's a cut down again, 0.15, and down the line there we got 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. And I'll just flick that out and hold it back, and that can work really well as well, which is good if you're on a few. Yeah, so the rest of those rigs are sort of bulk. They're on the short kits. So yeah, tie a few hooks and make a few more rigs up. I've got bloody plenty of rigs, to be honest, so I need to go through a few and cut a few of these down. There's another one of Ian's. I had these ones made actually. These have got a slightly longer stem, slightly longer body, and I just love these floats. Slightly bigger 1.7 tip, 0.7 mil. But I just like, this is quite a deep rig. This was for my, that float's too light for the depth really, but I've had a lot of success fishing a lighter rig in the deep water. Just sometimes you get a few extra bites if it's flat calm, you know, in them very cold days when it's flat calm, no movement, you can see everything, so that can work really well. But on the day it didn't. So that was that really. Yeah, as I say, just having a little sort out, make a few rigs up, getting organised, and then it won't be long before it all changes again. Or I think we've got a bit of a cold spell coming again, but it won't be long before those fish naturally want to start having a little feed, and I think pellets will start working again, like hard pellets. So we're getting ready for that. Fishing banded pellet, and yeah, that's it really. As I say, talk about doing some ground bait mixing videos and stuff, but you know, if you go onto Blake's YouTube channel, Blake's Baits YouTube channel, you'll see everything you need to know about all the ground baits from Paul, Christian and Andy on how to mix. There's no point in me doing it again. It's all on there. So, you know, it's free to view, and they're the masters, Paul, Andy and Christian. So, you know, if you get a chance to have a look at the Blake's Baits YouTube channel, because there's all the information is on there about all our ground baits, how to mix them, when to use them and that sort of thing. Ground expander is still another brilliant ground bait to use at the moment. Just a little tip with a fine ground expander, literally if you get a pint of pure ground expander, put it in your mixing bowl, pint of water, whizzle it around, just leave it even for 45 minutes where you're setting up, go back, push it through the riddle, and it'll be absolutely perfect. Low feed content, so really good fish attractor if you cup some in and fish a 4mm expander over the top, or a couple of maggots. Brilliant. Get you a few bites when nothing else will. So that's always worth a go. Had a little sort out in here, trying to make a bit more room. So it's got my workbench. I had it up the other end, which was a bit silly because my light's right here, so it's much brighter and I can see what I'm doing here. It's much easier when I'm doing my shot. I've got my little rig mate here, my Jordan Holloways. You can make them. I find it quite useful, and I write down different settings for when I'm shotting up, 18 inch, 16, 14, 12 and so on, and I just find it useful. And if you've got your shotting guide that is also on it, which is very useful. As I say, once I've shot a couple of floats up in my tube, then the others are all the same, which is really good. You know, brilliant. So yeah, so that's that for now, really. Hope you're all well, catching plenty, and thank you for. I've had some nice comments about my last video, which is nice. As I say, it's difficult sometimes when you're fishing and you're trying to film yourself, and something will happen, the wind will blow the camera over or whatever, or the mic will stop working and stuff like that, and you end up sort of stop fishing a little bit and to sort it out, which is not brilliant if you're doing okay. So I tend to, these days, if I'm catching a few, I tend to just, if something happens, I'll stop filming. Concentrate on catching the fish, which is what you're there for. But I keep trying to change the setup to make it a bit better and for better viewing. I'm not going to go mad and start buying 3 cameras and 3 different angles and having A, B, C rolls and cutting them all together. I do enough of that at work, so I won't be doing that for pleasure, if that makes sense. I'll try and do a little bit more informative stuff when I'm on the bank, because it's quite difficult sometimes, but I do try and run through what I'm feeding and my shotting pattern and the depth and that sort of thing, for those that are interested. It's quite, I think it's probably helps some people that perhaps don't go to Ivy very often, so they can have a little look. So usually it's a couple of videos of all the different lakes that I've fished on there, which I think helps a few people. A few people comment about it, so that's good. As I say, weather's going to change, so herring won't be long before we start looking to catch short and shallow, I imagine. We need a bit of sun yet. It's still cold, I know, but it's amazing how quickly it does change. All of a sudden, bang, it just changes. And I think the Match Lake will start switching more to hard pellet and that sort of thing. And casters as well for kingfisher and heron. And willow, I expect the carp will start waking up and then we start seeing some big weights again. Amazing, those lakes really. There are a lot of fish in there. But in the winter, it's a very hard venue. It really is. I think it's quite known for being quite hard in the winter. So yeah, but I enjoy it. You have to think about what you're doing a little bit, and it's not every session's not a bagging session. You know, you've got to work for your fish, which I quite enjoy. Yeah, looking forward to. I'm going to try and get down the tunnel if I can this summer. Just that with work and everything, unless you go somewhere like Tunnel Barn day in, day out, you've got to be so in tune with that place. It changes from day to day, and I don't know all the lakes well enough. So whenever I go, it's a big learning curve for me every time, which is what it's all about. I will try and get down there a little bit more. It's not a million miles away, really, an hour and a bit drive. A few other places I want to have a go at this year. I've got one Fishermania ticket. That's the only one I've got. That was a bit chaotic for anybody that tried getting a Fish O ticket. I've sorted it out one year. So yeah, Moorlands Farm is the only one I've got on a Wednesday. Not been there for ages, so we'll keep an eye on that nearer the time. That's May, and then I'm going to just see what else. I'll try and do a few little qualifiers of different things if the tickets are available. I'm not going to chase it though. I'm going to just, if one comes up nearer a time that I'm free to go and fish, then I'll give it a go. So that's about it for the moment. I'll sign off for now. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to go through. Really, not really. So I've got loads of rigs and things I've got to sort out in here, which I'm just about to break the load. I've just been painting the fence outside. A bit windy out there today. So yeah, I've got, as I say, a lot of rigs here that I made up from last summer that I've not even used. So I'll have to have a little sort out with those little dibbers and things. These were for that needs to come off because that's one that I've obviously used and snipped the band off, so I will be breaking that one down in a moment and remaking that. It's a little 4B8 Ian Everett dibber. I'll leave that out because I'm going to change that. Yeah, numerous different rigs here. Got a nice little shallow. That's an inline. That's going to have to come off. So they're all going to have to come off. I'm going to have to go through them all, chop them all down. But it might be alright. Stretch it out a bit. That's a little. What have we got here? That's a 10. Sorry, inline dibber. Lovely little float. That's a wire stem. I do prefer carbon, but I've had a bit of success with these, especially if you're just waiting a little bit for a bite. So it's just sitting there dead still. Sometimes, you're going out shallow and you're slapping your rig, you're trying to get a bite straight away. There are days when you'll drop it in, feed. Sometimes you've got to wait a little bit longer and they'll sit dead still. And you will get a bite. And we've got our little, I love these floats as well, which I need to speak to Ian about actually, about getting some more. But these are his little slapping floats, and I love these. They're brilliant. It's a 0.3. They're just great for pellets. They're good for holding up. You can even hold an 8mm up on that. Again, got to go through them and take all these, change these hook lengths and stuff. But yeah, they're brilliant for flipping out in front of, mugging fish as well as slapping it around, which is good with an 8mm or 6mm pellet on. Anyway, I won't harp on. That's basically where we're at. So I'm having a little sort out, and I shall be out next Sunday. Hopefully I can film that. Bit of Heron F1 action. We'll see. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering. Have a good week, or have a good month out. Let's hope the weather's kind and fish start having a little munch. Right, tie lines all, and speak to you soon. Bye for now. Well, I'm just changing an elastic. So there's a nice easy way of doing it without having to get your threader out. All I'll do is, when I'm changing my elastic, I'm just going to put a slightly softer one here, and joining those two bits of elastic together, and all I shall do is pull this one, he says. There we go. It's going to pull that one through like so. So that's now out the end, and just going to quickly put my bead on for the puller. Nice and simple. Through the fat end of the bead. All that. If you can see that. Just pushing that through the threader. And then like so. Then I'll pull the bead back over the elastic, and then do my little double loop, wet it, put it tight like so, snip that off. I'll just pull that through, and there we have it. That's on the bottom end. And then this end, same again. It's just a case of snip that off. Get me bead. I use the same bead. Bead's fine. It's ready for the bin in a minute. Where you bin? Same again. Through the fat end. Through the threader. Pull the bead down. Job's a good one. Just pull that up. And I'm going to have that no angle probably. Just start off like that. So easy to tighten up on the bank. I'll snip that off. Like so, just don't let go, because if you do, that's when it all pings back down and then you've got to start all over again. Then you will need to thread it all. I'm going to start this off a little bit soft, so literally just going to put my little knots in at the end, so I can put my line on it, wet it, there we have it, nice and simple. And that didn't take long, did it? That's done. Nice, a nice 6 to 8. Probably a little bit soft, but as I say, I can just literally on the bank, I can just pull this back, retension it, retie that, and good to go. So that's good. So all we're going to do now is set up a rig. So if you want to see that, I'll stop and come back. Nice cup of coffee now. Yeah, anyway, it was a bit awkward. I got the camera set up wrong to do a close up of me making the rig up. But this is 4B10. 4B10? 4B10. I had to think about that. Yeah, 4B10. 4B15, 4B10. And on this I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s. And a little 11 trimming shot right under the float. This is just for fishing, as I say, between 16 and sort of up to 26 inches deep if I want to. I've got a slightly longer line on there. I think at the moment, this time of the year, it's don't like having the pole right over the head. Just I have a back shot on it so I can hold it up, and I'll have a 4-inch hook length on it when it's done. So yeah, that's nice. Can't really see that, but it's all good. So this I shall probably stick a 4-inch on it, and I'll hook it up in my top kit, ready to go. So that's it. Job's a good one. Anyway, I'll carry on making a few more rigs up. I won't bother boring you with watching what I'm doing. Just going to make up a that one's not that one, because I managed to split the stem on that. Actually, I'll cut that down, make it good again, but I'm just going to make up a 0.3 next bulk, 16-inch bulk, quite a high bulk. Sounds high, but I get on with it. For me, it just works, having a 16-inch bulk and 14-inch bulk, and then my 311s, and I'll sort of flick it out in front and just hold it, so I get a nice slow fall, and then the final part just drops down a little bit where you've loose fed some maggots, and get a few bites doing that. Works for me anyway. Everyone's different. As I say, if we all fished the same, then it would be boring, wouldn't it? It's like it's interesting watching the podcast with Andy Bennett and Matt Godfrey, and they're talking about overshotted rigs. Should they be banned? And it's a tough one, isn't it? I don't agree with bans, but with the overshotted rig, as Andy pointed out, you spend a lot of time getting everything right when you're fishing shallow and hitting bites, and depending on how much line you've got between your float and your pole tip, depending on the venue and the rules, like Ivy House, it's 8-inch lash, no shallower than 6 inches, and you do miss a few bites, but it's the same for everyone. The thing with an overshotted rig, in my opinion, is you don't miss so many bites, which can be a good thing. But where the skill factor is with you lowering it in, lifting it up, lowering it down, lifting it up, lowering it, and you can find the depth they're feeding that pretty quickly, to be fair. I mean, it comes into its own in the summer when places like Tunnel, when all the fish are under cover and you've got to poke your pole right underneath some reeds or a little bush or whatever, pinging casters into the reeds so they're dropping down and the fish aren't coming out, you're going into where they are and you're pushing your pole tip in and your rig's just sinking slowly and the elastic comes out when you get one. I'm not against it, but I feel that in the summer the fish are there for a reason. They're getting out the way of the hot sun. They're probably a bit stressed because of it, and then we're making them even more stressed by going in after them, fishing where they are. It's a bit of a debate, isn't it? Is that right or wrong? I don't know. Should it be that you're not allowed to do that and you can fish up against the rushes or the bushes, lose feeding, and the fish that want to feed that come out are the ones you catch, rather than perhaps the ones that don't really want to feed but can't resist it because you're dropping the bait slowly in front of their noses. It's a massive debate. As I say, I don't agree with bans, but is it something that maybe we're creating methods to catch fish that don't want to be caught, if that makes sense? I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just that it's like method feeders. You think about it, before method feeders, you fished a cage feeder. You might have had a 6-inch hook length or an 8-inch hook length or a 10-inch hook length, and of course when you're chucking up to an island, you had a good chance your hook length catching on a twig or something. But obviously with a method, it's not going to happen. You can chuck it up the bank almost and drop it back in down the edge, and it's fine. So you're fishing for fish that you probably wouldn't have 30 years ago or before the method was born. You wouldn't have been able to get to. But I suppose it's fishing advancement in fishing in one respect. I'm not saying that should be banned either, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it depends how you look at things. We're catching fish that now perhaps that we wouldn't have caught before because we couldn't get to them. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, basically. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hello, my dog's come to say hello. Hello. Come to help me. Anyway, I'll carry on. Going to change some more elastics, get these rigs made up quickly, and then take the dog out for a walk because she obviously wants to go out. Anyway, hope I haven't bored you too much. Just doing a little shed. So that's that really. Any questions, give me a shout. So have a good week, as I said already, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.